Hello, welcome to another Jumpstart process video. This video is part of Jumpstart Package 1 and it is the Structural General Notes review. When we review the Structural General Notes, we're looking for the code, year, and type. We're looking for concrete type and strength. We're looking for design criteria of the structure of the building, wind load, seismic drift, and then there are any other possible notes that may be job specific we're looking for. So let's walk you through that. Sometimes they're one page, sometimes they're multiple pages. This one happens to be 2 pages long. Usually in the top front, you'll see the codes. In this case, it's California Building Code 2016 or CBC 2016. CBC 2016 references ASCE 7, Chapter 7, 2010, so it's ASCE 710. CBC 2019, which is now coming online and being used on almost all new jobs, references ASCE 760 for 2016 update. And next up, we have our concrete strength and type. Here we see the exposed grade slabs on grade at 4,000 psi, and then concrete on steel deck for the upper floors at 4,000 psi. Indicates here that it could be lightweight concrete or normal weight concrete per the plan. So then we would have to go back to the individual plans at each floor to see exactly which weight of concrete it is. And why that's important is our embeds in lightweight concrete don't have as much capacity as they do in the normal weight concrete. Next up, we also have a nice little note here again regarding our embeds. In this case, talking about our acceptable anchors, we'll have the current ICC ES report. And that's for seismic loads and cracked concrete, and Hiltis do have that. So we are covered there, but we highlighted it just to make sure everyone is aware that it's there, so as anyone else comes in and reviews. We'll go to the second page here, and we'll start to look into the actual design criteria. So usually it's sort of labeled structural design data or something similar. We have our wind loads, gives us our wind speed, risk category, exposure, and then our seismic loads give us risk category, importance factor, spectral response, the SDS, SD1, and then the response modification coefficient is R. What's not on here is the CD factor, which is typically a factor that's used if we're only given inelastic, that we can then use that CD factor to get to the elastic, or if they're giving us elastic, we can use the CD to get to inelastic. Either way, we would take all these things, write these down in our design criteria worksheet, and this is what we get our wind loads when we do our wind load analysis, so we can start doing deflection runs. And then up here, we have our seismic drift. So they actually, instead of giving us drift as a percentage, they gave us the actual drift worked out in inches based on the floor heights. And so here we can see our elastic drift and our inelastic drift right here. So then that's really sort of primarily the main things we're looking for. And so then anything after that is sort of just going to be job specific. Any special notes that catch our eye that we want to be aware of. Except for this one thing in yellow. This is the last thing, and it's talking about the half-inch live load. So typical vertical movement at each floor of half-inch. So that's our live load, and then that'll go on there as well. Then the special notes they talk about here: cladding shall not introduce moment or lateral loads into the steel beams, torsional loads. So that's something we have to watch out for. Just some housekeeping things for the PM, structural calcs, and an exterior cladding is a deferred submittal, so the structural engineer will not be reviewing those. That will be up to our engineers. And then here they've indicated that it's a professional engineer or PE stamp is required on the calcs. Sometimes it might be an SE or structural engineer. And that's a review of a fairly typical set of structural general notes. Thank you.